Welcome to the Chad G. Ortho OT Podcast. I'm your host, Chad Guerrero. I'm an orthopedic occupational therapist, strength and conditioning coach, sports trainer, and I hold over 40 specialty certifications in manual therapy, orthopedics, and sports medicine. On this podcast, we will discuss everything orthopedic therapy, sports medicine, and more. If you're a therapist, health and fitness professional, or someone just wanting to learn more about the orthopedic and sports medicine world, then this is a podcast for you. Let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome to the episode of the Chad G. Ortho OT Podcast. I'm your host, Chad Guerrero, and today I want to talk just a little bit about medical supply, right? Or supplies from medical supply companies. I had something else planned I was going to talk about in this episode, and just, honestly, it just really bothers me, the cost of medical supplies, right? And we either have experienced this ourselves or we know somebody that's had this happen to them. They need a brace, they go to the orthopedic doctor or something like that, and, they need a brace for the knee or the elbow or whatever. And this is I'm not saying this is a doctor problem, a doctor's office problem. But, we get this brace and, the insurance is billed like $2,000 for this brace, right? And your part's like $700. And you're going to be pretty upset when you go on like Amazon or Walmart.com. I'm not kidding you. I actually buy a lot of braces on there for people. And you're going to find the same brace for like $150. I mean, it's just really ridiculous. Because sometimes you might not even wear the brace, right? Wear it, or like a boot. A lot of people get these boots, you have to wear because you had foot surgery or you've got tendonitis or something like that in the foot, or severe plantar fasciitis, and you wear the boot. And you might not even wear it that much, and it costs you a ton of money. Not only maybe are you not working right now because of whatever, and I'm not saying don't get the the products or the supplies, whatever your physician's recommending or your therapist requires or whatever. I'm just saying I'm just kind of ranting because it's so annoying that we all have to suffer the cost of this stuff for some reason. I know when I opened my clinic, I opened in 2015, but I moved locations. And when I moved locations, I was looking for some sort of rolling cart, kind of like a medical cart, like a big Rubbermaid looking kind of a thing. And so I found some websites, and they were like $3,000 per cart, medical supply. I don't know if it does surgery, and when you're not looking, I'm not really sure what happens there. But then, true story, I went to Harbor Freight, and, shout out to Harbor Freight, and got some great stuff from there. Went to Harbor Freight, and I got these toolboxes, and they're lime green, which is my favorite color. And I got them in lime green. I think I paid $150 or $170 for two of them, each. And I got two of those, and then I have a big one. I think I paid around $200, $224. It's even larger. And so you can do the math on that, and I got it in lime green, which is my color, and saved myself a ton of money. Because if I'd got 3 carts at $3,000, how silly is that? You're reaching $9,000 just to put stuff in, so that was kind of crazy too. And the same thing is these little TENS units that you get. Now, as always, any products that I talk about, make sure that you're okay, clear with your healthcare provider, et cetera, before you use anything. Make sure it's safe for you and all that. You know what you're doing. But the little TENS units, which stands for transcutaneous electrical nerve stimulation, and those things, you can get medical supply. They're very, very expensive. And I remember years ago getting a refurbished one, and it was like $1,900. And I had a patient a while back whose insurance bought one for them, and they charged the insurance like $700, and their part was like $200 or something like that. And so I literally got on my phone and I went to Amazon, and the exact same one I showed him, and he could get it for like $36. It's the same thing. And now at the same time, though, there are things that you can get at places like that, or I'm using Amazon, just or wherever you get it from, that's not the same quality. We use what's called cold lasers, class 3B, and class 3 lasers, therapeutic lasers at my clinic. And you can get lasers. I've had people say, "Oh, I've got these light therapy laser things, online from wherever, and I paid $120 for them or whatever." And you're probably not, because you're not really aware of in something like that. Maybe what you're looking at, because the lasers like that we use at my clinic are significantly more expensive than that. And there's special requirements. You have to wear certain glasses, or you have to keep the light covered, and all these kind of things. So, so sometimes you're getting what you pay for, but I feel like in the majority of time, and again, a lot of us can kind of speak from experience on this. I feel like we just get ripped off. And I don't know, even like walkers and canes. I mean, gosh, you can go to Walmart. I periodically go to Walmart, pick up a couple of canes or something like that. Keep them here at my clinic. If we need to use it with somebody to work on something, we're walking fine, or they're transitioning from maybe a walker or crutches, and we're going to go to a cane. And, and those, I need to get a cane. I'm hoping my insurance will buy me a cane. I'm like, well, goodness. Like, by the time that you go to your doctor and get a prescription for it, if your insurance requires a prescription, okay, there's a copay at your doctor's office, probably. I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of paraphrasing here, right, or assuming. And so there's a copay there, and then you go to, medical supply place, and then there we go there, and you're going to pay for it there. And now you've got a $17 cane, or maybe $30 if you get one that's super fancy. It just costs you $150. And it's like, that's crazy. I don't understand why that's so much. Maybe I should start making canes and just sell them online. I don't know, it's like cheaper in bulk, but that cane comes to mind because that happens a lot too, So I don't know. I'm not really sure what the answer is, and I don't really know why the price is the way that it is. I know everything's more expensive now. But in medical supply, it's just something that's been like that forever. And you even going in the hospital and you look at your bill, and sometimes, now this is not directed towards any one particular hospital. I'm just speaking from my experience and then patients' experiences over the last 18, 20 years. Like sometimes, you're not even seeing half the people that you get the bill for. You're like, I don't know who these people are. Well, here's a bill from this person and that person, and this one did this and this one did that. And I'm like, I've not seen any of these people, but they want their money at $400 or $500 a pop maybe, or whatever. And you're just like, what is going on? I don't understand why this is so expensive. And everything takes forever, right? Like, I mean, everything is so, while I'm ranting, I'm just going to talk on this too. Like, everything takes forever to get. Like, when you order things, it takes forever to get. Or if you're needing an MRI, let's just say, a lot of times an insurance company has like their policies in place, like, oh, well, you've got to go to therapy for so long, and then either show that the therapy didn't work, or you didn't make enough improvements or whatever, and then you're going to have the MRI. You have to have the MRI before you have maybe injections or nerve cauterizations or whatever, and you can't have surgery until you go through all of these steps and they don't work. And I'm not saying surgery is always the answer. Like if surgery can be avoided, I'm a fan of that. I mean, I'm big on holistic stuff and trying to avoid that preventative as much as we can. But sometimes you have to have surgery. That just is what it is. But there's all these steps with all those things to be done. I know a lot of people can relate to that. Like you can't get an MRI until you've had an X-ray. You can't get this until you've had that. And it's like, oh my gosh. And then to top it all off, a lot of times, if you're paying your insurance premiums, right, the premiums always go up and the coverage usually goes down, or to afford your premium, you have to take a high deductible plan that doesn't have the best benefits, after that, like a 70-30 or something like that. I actually seen a plan a while back that was, I can't remember what it was. It was something crazy with like a super high deductible, which really would only come into play if something catastrophic happened or something. I don't really know. But anyway, but I just, I thought about that today, and I had a patient was talking about the cost of some of these different things, and, a brace, how much a brace was that they got, and different things. Oh, and a bone stimulator. I had a person yesterday that talked about a bone stimulator. They had a bone stimulator like a year prior, never used it. I don't know why they didn't use it, but they never used it. And so they tell, the doctor says, I'm going to order a bone stimulator. And they said, well, I've already got one that's never used it. And I go, okay, well, that'll be fine. And in the mix of everything, the medical supply company shows up at the patient's house with another bone stimulator. It says, here, you're supposed to use this one. And it says, well, I have one. It's never been used. And they told the patient, oh, that one's out of date. It's obsolete now. It doesn't work. It's not any good. And it's like, but there was nothing wrong with it. Why are we having a second one when there's nothing wrong with this one? And they're very expensive. Insurance companies are paying a lot of money for this stuff. So I don't know. And while I'm on the topic of just things like this, power wheelchairs. Oh my gosh. Over the years, the power wheelchairs, I've done evaluations for people for power wheelchairs for a company. They have an office in West Fernando. It's called New Motion. Shout out to my friend Joel Fernandez there. He's awesome. And he comes out to your house and, kind of goes through everything with you and makes sure that it's custom for you and it's measurements work out and everything. But I had several years ago, I had a patient that I was seeing for home health, and I was going out called him to let him know I was coming out the next day. And they said, okay, well, my power chair people are going to be here shortly. I said, your power chair people? I didn't know you were getting a power chair, And oh yeah, they're coming out. They called me somehow or another, and this and this and this. I said, well, did anybody come out to your house, and has anybody measured you for this or went over anything? And he's like, no, they just called me and told me I qualify for this chair and have my insurance information. They got, I don't know, and they're showing up with it, dropping it off. Nobody's been out to the house. No therapist has evaluated this patient. Nobody's come and measured them. Nothing. I said, okay. And so this is a larger patient. And I said, you know what? I'm going to come over so I can just be there with you, but just don't really tell them who I am, And so I go over there and I beat the person that's dropping this off. And there they come with this van, drop it off, in the front yard, come in with a clipboard. Here you go. Sign right here. And this thing is... it's ready to go. It's yours. And I'm looking at this, and he's kind of looking over the papers. I'm like, this thing is never going to fit in the house. It's too big. And I asked the person, I said, is this thing going to fit in the house? She goes, oh yeah, it'll go. If not, we can leave it out here. Well, and unless things have changed at the time, especially with Medicare, they're not concerned necessarily with community mobility. They're looking for in-home mobility type stuff. So the fact that Medicare is paying for this thing and it's going to be outside is first of all, that's a no-go. And so the lady asked me, she said, well, and who are you? I said, oh, this is my grandpa, whatever. Oh, okay. And so I told him, I said, hang on, can I look over that with you, this paperwork? And she was kind of getting irritated. And anyway, long story short, it gets to a point where she's like, look, I'm going to need, your grandfather here just to sign this. And that way I can kind of get out of here and he can have his chair. And I said, well, about that, I'm actually a therapist. This is my patient with a home health company I'm working for. And I actually have some questions for you because I've done a lot of power chair assessments. And the look on her face was priceless. I asked if anybody had been out and, oh, my phone's ringing here. Hang on, let me turn this down. There we go. So I asked if anybody had been out and, to evaluate him and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, no, well, we don't have to send anybody out. Well, yeah, you do. You're supposed to. And anyway, before it was all said and done, she ends up loading this thing back up, took it off. And then I contacted my folks at New Motion there, and they got him taken care of and did a really great job and got him what he needed. And he was very satisfied. So anyway, just whenever you're talking about medical supply things and, things like that, just question it, does I really need some of this stuff if it's super expensive? can I not, or fine, I'll take this, but like, can I get it cheaper somewhere else? Or at least just check around, even check around. And again, I'm not saying go against what your doctor's saying and all that, because I'm not a physician, but I am just telling you that you just want to be careful, because you can spend a lot of money and you could have got the same thing at Walmart.com or wherever. So anyway, thanks so much for listening, guys. I appreciate you listening to this rant from me. I feel like a lot of people can relate to this. If you have an interesting topic or case and you want it featured on the podcast, just shoot me a message. You can email me over at chadgorthoot@gmail.com. Thanks so much for listening, guys. This podcast is brought to you by Guerrero Rehabilitation, setting the bar for rehabilitative and sports medicine care.